All right, we are in fact getting some more information regarding Nepal, which is in the grip of one of its worst disasters in years. A glacial collapse high in the Himalayas has triggered a massive landslide and flash flood along the Nepal-Tibet border, tearing through villages and bridges and entire settlements in Raswa, Nuwakot, Darding and beyond. The death toll has now climbed past 469, with nearly 1,000 people still missing across Nepal and neighbouring Tibet. Thousands of security personnel remain deployed on the ground for search, rescue and body recovery, even as a fresh alert was issued today over a barrier lake bursting again on the Tibetan side. Now, Nepal has declined foreign rescue teams, saying that its own agencies can handle the operation and is instead seeking cash contributions for relief. Rescue teams continue racing against time and worsening conditions to reach survivors and recover the dead. Well, let's get in some breaking news at this hour. Well, the Indian ambassador to Nepal, Naveen Srivastav, has met rescued Indian nationals after the deadly Nepal flash floods. This comes as 21 Tamil Nadu residents rescued from flood-affected areas have reached Kathmandu. An Indian ambassador to Nepal, Naveen Srivastav, inquired about their well-being before their upcoming return to India. Let me go across to my colleague Pragati Tripathi, who joins us with more on this. Pragati, we are getting information that the pilgrims who were stranded in Nepal from Tamil Nadu, 21 people have been rescued and now they are on their way back to India, and the Indian ambassador to Nepal actually met them as well.
Nepal, Naveen Srivastav has met Indian nationals who have been rescued from the devastating flash flood in Nepal, checking on their conditions, speaking to them and making sure that those who have survived this catastrophe are not left to deal with its aftermath alone. 21 Indian nationals from Tamil Nadu rescued from the flood hit area have now reached Kathmandu, and are being prepared for their return to India. The Indian embassy has now been closely coordinating with the Nepalese authority on their evacuation and welfare. And this is important because for India, the operation is not simply about bringing its citizens home. It is also about standing with Nepal at a moment when the country is facing one of the worst natural disasters in recent memory. And India's response began almost immediately. The Indian Air Force flew relief material into Kathmandu, while India has also provided humanitarian assistance to the flooded areas. 10 tons of essential relief materials have already been handed over, including tents and inflatable boats. And at the same time, New Delhi has activated a 24/7 control room to track affected Indian nationals, coordinate with the authorities and assist families desperately waiting for information about their loved ones. And that becomes, very important. And hundreds of Indian nationals have been affected by the disaster, with communication networks knocked out across several areas and rescue operations being carried out in extremely difficult terrain, Shivani. So Ambassador Naveen Srivastav himself had highlighted that the communication blackout was making it difficult to establish contact with many Indians. So when these rescued Indians are now meeting the ambassador in Kathmandu, this is not merely a diplomatic interaction. It is a reassurance that they have been found and they are safe and they are being taken care of. But India's role does not end with the evacuation of its citizens alone. India and Nepal, when you see, they share an open border, deep people-to-people ties and a relationship that goes beyond conventional diplomacy, Shivani. And in this moment of crisis, that relationship is visible on the ground. India has repeatedly responded to disasters in Nepal, whether it was, the devastating earthquake of 2015 or other humanitarian emergencies. So, India has already said it is ready to provide all possible humanitarian assistance and remain firmly in solidarity with the people of Nepal.
Absolutely, Pragati. Stay on with us. Let's also bring our viewers some information about the victims of this particular disaster and also about the people who continue to remain missing, because this is a disaster that happened in Nepal but has affected families that are in India. Let's talk about one particular appeal, where this is a desperate appeal that is circulating for Prerna Kale, who has not been heard since the catastrophic floods struck the Nepal-Tibet border. Her next-door neighbour has said that she was on her way to Kailash Mansarovar when the disaster unfolded. The last contact with her was on August 25th at 7 p.m. She was heading towards Mansarovar and was due to cross the border early next morning on August 26th, right around the time when the floods tore through the region. She was travelling as part of a group organised by the Nepal-based operator Richa Tours. This is managed by Dr. Milind Chitle of Mumbai. And since then, her family and neighbours have said that they have exhausted every government channel available to them, with no word on her safety or whereabouts. Unable to get answers through official routes, the family has now turned to circulating a poster appealing directly to the public, hoping that someone, somewhere, might have information that can bring them answers. Well, let me in fact get across a word from my colleague Pragati. Pragati, this is a desperate appeal, and we are seeing such posters circulating on social media. This is a family trying to seek answers, trying to seek the whereabouts of their loved ones. In particular, we are talking about Prerna Kale. Her family, her friends, everyone is looking for her. They're trying to search for answers. They're also saying that they've tried to contact the government agencies, but they haven't been able to locate her. Pragati.
Yes, Shivani. This is a desperate appeal, that's now being circulated on social media as the family continue to search for their loved ones who have gone missing after the devastating flash flood in Nepal. And this post has been shared by Anjali Damania, who says her next-door neighbor, Prerna Kale, was traveling to Kailash Mansarovar when this disaster struck. And according to that post, Prerna was traveling with a Nepal-based group called Richa Tours, managed by Dr. Milind Chitle from Mumbai. He says that the last communication they received from Prerna was on the evening of August 25 at around 7 p.m. And at that point, the group was reportedly heading towards Mansarovar and was expected to cross the Nepal-Tibet border early on August 26. But since then, there has been no communication, no calls, no messages, nothing. And according to the family, repeated attempts to get information through the government channels have so far not yielded any confirmation about her whereabouts. And this appeal has now been amplified because the situation on ground is extremely difficult. The flash floods that tore through the Nepal's Rosawa region have devastated the very route used by thousands of pilgrims traveling towards Kailash Mansarovar. Roads have been destroyed, bridges have been washed away, communication networks have been disrupted, an entire stretch of the pilgrimage route has been buried under the mud and debris. And this is why establishing contact with people who are traveling through the region has become such a major challenge. The scale of the crisis is enormous, Shivani. Hundreds of people remain there, they are missing, including a large number of foreign nationals. Indian nationals constitute one of the biggest groups among those who still, are unaccounted for. And with many of them believed to have been traveling on pilgrimage. For families, however, these are not numbers. Every missing person has a name, a family, and a home that is waiting for them. And in Prerna Kale's case, her neighbors are now using every possible platform to circulate her details in the hope that someone somewhere may have seen the group. And the appeal is straightforward. If anyone has information about Prerna or the Richa Tour group, they are, being urged to contact the numbers provided in the original poster and the, and on the pass the information on. And there is a larger concern here that the disappearance of the pilgrimage, it's not an isolated case. Several Kailash Mansarovar group have, lost contact with their families because of the flood.
Right. Pragati, I'd request you, if you can stay on with us, we're tracking more breaking news coming in. Well, a disturbing incident amid Nepal's flood disaster